Hey, it's me from the channel. And today, we have another story about a boy named Ethan who has autism and gets bullied at school. But then when his teacher stands up for him, everything changes. So let's jump right into the story. Ethan was an extremely intelligent kid who just so happened to have autism. He always wore the same clothes, always brought the same lunch, and didn't interact much with the other students. This made him very different from everyone else, which in turn made him a target for bullies. The worst of these bullies was the class clown, a kid who went by the name of Mason. Mason had a couple of lackeys that did his bidding, one of whom was Liam. One day during recess, Ethan was drawing something on the sidewalk when Mason and Liam came up behind him and started making fun of him. "What are you drawing there, loser?" Mason asked, trying to sound mean. "A picture of you," Ethan responded without hesitation. "Ha ha, very funny," Mason said sarcastically. "Oh yeah, then draw me being cool," Mason instructed. "Okay," Ethan said, taking a deep breath and continuing to draw. Ethan finished his drawing and showed it to Mason. In the drawing, Mason was indeed depicted as being cool. He was standing in front of a bunch of girls, all of whom were smiling and holding hearts above their heads. But this was not what Mason wanted. He wanted to be shown as the star quarterback leading his team to victory. "This isn't what I wanted," Mason whined. "Then draw me winning the big game," he added. "Okay," Ethan said, still breathing heavily. Again, Ethan finished his drawing and presented it to Mason. In the drawing, Mason was indeed leading his team to victory. He was surrounded by his teammates, all of whom were celebrating with him. But this wasn't what Mason wanted either. He wanted to be shown as the star quarterback scoring the winning touchdown. "This isn't what I wanted," Mason complained. "Then draw me scoring the winning touchdown," he added. "Okay," Ethan said. For the third time, Ethan finished his drawing and presented it to Mason. In the drawing, Mason was indeed scoring the winning touchdown. His teammates were in the background celebrating. But this wasn't what Mason wanted either. He wanted to be shown as the star quarterback scoring the winning touchdown while also being surrounded by a bunch of pretty girls. "This isn't what I wanted," Mason complained. "Then draw me scoring the winning touchdown and having the girls I like surround me," he added. "Okay," Ethan said. Once again, Ethan finished his drawing and presented it to Mason. In the drawing, Mason was scoring the winning touchdown while being surrounded by the two girls that he liked. But this was not what Mason wanted. He wanted to be shown as the star quarterback scoring the winning touchdown while also having the prettiest girl in the grade, Sarah, surround him. "This isn't what I wanted," Mason complained. "Then draw me scoring the winning touchdown with Sarah there too," he added. "Okay," Ethan said. It was at this point that Miss Reyes, their teacher, approached them. She had seen the whole interaction between the boys, and she was furious at how Mason and Liam had treated Ethan. "What do you two think you're doing?" Miss Reyes asked sternly. "We were just playing, Miss Reyes," Mason replied, hoping that she would drop the subject. But Miss Reyes was not having it. "I saw the whole thing," she exclaimed. "You were picking on Ethan because he's different." "He's weird," Mason protested. "He draws pictures of us really good," Liam added. "That's not the point," Ms. Reyes interrupted. "The point is that even if he is different, it doesn't give you the right to treat him poorly." Ms. Reyes turned to Ethan. "Why don't you come with me to the art room?" she asked. "Okay," Ethan responded softly. Ms. Reyes led Ethan to the art room, which was actually her classroom. She sat him down at one of the tables and told him to take out his sketchbook. She then left the room to get some water, leaving Ethan alone with his thoughts. As soon as Miss Reyes left the room, Mason and Liam ran in. "What are you drawing?" Mason asked suspiciously. "My teacher told me to draw something," Ethan responded innocently. "Oh, let me guess," Mason said. "She told you to draw me scoring the winning touchdown with Sarah there too," he added. "Actually, she told me to draw something nice," Ethan corrected. "Well, I think this calls for a new drawing lesson," Mason said smugly. Ethan closed his sketchbook and stood up. Just then, Miss Reyes returned to the room and noticed what Mason was trying to do. "Get out of here, both of you!" she exclaimed. As Mason and Liam were leaving, they bumped into Sarah. "What did you two do to upset Miss Reyes?" Sarah asked. "Nothing," Mason lied. "Oh, I'm sure that's true," Sarah said sarcastically. "I'll see you later," she added, rolling her eyes and walking away. Ms. Reyes turned back to Ethan and offered him a reassuring smile. "Don't listen to those idiots," she said. "You're a great artist, and I want to help you further develop your skills," she added. "Really?" Ethan asked, his eyes lighting up. "Of course," Ms. Reyes replied warmly. After school that day, Ethan stayed behind to talk to Ms. Reyes. "I want to improve my art skills," he told her. "Well, I think you already have a lot of talent," Ms. Reyes responded. "I just need some guidance," Ethan said. "I can definitely help you with that," Ms. Reyes replied. "Great," Ethan said, a big smile spreading across his face. Every day after school, Ethan would stay behind and work on his art with Ms. Reyes helping guide him. His art was truly amazing. It was no wonder that Ms. Reyes wanted to help him develop his skills. Meanwhile, Mason and Liam were struggling in art class. They simply didn't have the patience or attention span to sit still and draw. Whenever their teacher, Mr. Williams, would approach them to ask how their projects were coming along, they would simply lie and say that they were working on it. Mr. Williams knew that they were lying, but he didn't have the authority to punish them. That was their parents' job. One day, Mr. Williams decided to show the class some of Ethan's drawings. The class was in awe at how good his art was. Even Mason and Liam had to admit that it was impressive. Mr. Williams asked the class if anyone wanted to take up art as an elective next semester. Many hands shot up, including those of Mason and Liam. They didn't actually want to take the class, but they were hoping that they could get some of Ethan's drawings done so that they could hand them in and get credit for the class. The next day, Mason and Liam approached Ethan while he was working on a drawing. "Hey, Ethan, do you mind if we look at what you're drawing?" Mason asked. "Sure," Ethan replied without looking up from his work. "Wow, this is amazing," Liam exclaimed. "Can I copy your drawing?" he added. "Me too," Mason said. "Yes, sure," Ethan responded, still focused on his drawing. As Mason and Liam were copying Ethan's drawing, Miss Reyes approached them. "What are you two doing?" she asked. "We're copying Ethan's drawing," Liam replied. "And why wouldn't we be allowed to do that?" "There's nothing wrong with copying someone else's work," Ms. Reyes said sternly. "In fact, it's a great way to learn." "Really?" Mason asked. "Yeah," Ms. Reyes replied. "I'm going to go tell Mr. Williams that you two want to take up art next semester," she added. "Wait, what?" Mason exclaimed. "You don't understand," Ms. Reyes interrupted. "I'm going to give you 2 extra credit for copying Ethan's drawing," she added. "You got it," Mason said, surprised. "Me too," Liam added. Later that day, Mason and Liam approached Ethan while he was eating lunch. "Hey, Ethan, do you mind if we eat lunch with you?" Mason asked. "Sure," Ethan replied. "Great," Mason said, sitting down next to Ethan. So, what do you like to do for fun?" Liam asked. "I like to draw," Ethan replied. "Oh, so do we," Mason said awkwardly. "Really?" Ethan asked. "Yeah, Mason replied nervously. And from that day on, Mason and Liam became best friends with Ethan. They would hang out during recess and after school, and they would often bring their sketchbooks with them. They learned that being different was okay, and they realized that they didn't have to be mean to those who were different from them.